The Creative Psychotherapist is the official podcast of the Creative Clinicians Corner, a practice-building resource for creative psychotherapists. TCP Podcast is the cast for creative, expressive, and experiential-focused psychotherapists curious to learn how to design, build, and scale a thriving private practice. Your host, Raina Lombardi, interviews successful therapists about the tools and strategies they have used to develop creative-focused practices. They also talk about the products, services, and side hustles they have developed using their knowledge and creativity to enhance their therapy practices, make a greater impact in their communities, and diversify their income streams. Welcome. Now here's your host, Raina Lombardi. Please welcome Leah Guzman to the podcast today. Her passion is art, and her mission is to create art that embodies high energy, bringing peace and harmony to spaces. In addition, she also supports other creatives by connecting mind, body, and soul through the art making process. She offers online art therapy sessions and a Life is Your Masterpiece manifesting program to guide you in living your best life, which I'm hoping she'll share with us today. And above all, her art making practice is her version of therapy. And the style of her art is mixed media contemporary painting. She prefers to use oil, acrylic, and spray paint in both her portraits and abstract pieces. Therefore, the abstract and figurative works she creates are richly symbolic, layered, spiritual, soulful, and organic. She holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Studio Sculpture from Georgia State University and studied painting at the San Francisco Art Institute. In addition, she earned a master's degree in art therapy at Florida State University. And she subsequently became a board-certified art therapist and has been practicing for 16 years. She's had her art published in Spirituality and Health Magazine, Miami Midtown Magazine, Uptown Magazine, and Hyperallergic. Her works are held in private collections around the world, including Europe, South America, Australia, and the US. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for my intro, Raina.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for providing it for me from your website.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add about who you are and what you do?
Wow. Yeah, so I graduated at Florida State in 2003, and I knew that I wanted to work in the school system. And so I did. I got a job in the public school system, and I've been working there for about 16 years. But I also knew that I wanted to offer my services and, to a wider audience, because I feel that, yes, kids at risk do need support. But I also wanted to just kind of get my feet wet and try different populations. And so I did that. And I've been, it's been like an evolving practice of just offering it to the community. Like I've had a studio, I've had an office space where I've done group sessions or individual private practice. I've gone to like homeless shelters, I've gone to uh, homes where people were aging. I've gone to a lot of different places just to, try different populations and see how art therapy works with them, because I was really, really interested. Yeah.
Very cool. So you've been doing a lot.
I know. I had someone says, how do you, when do you have time to sleep? And I'm like, well, it's just that I'm curious. And I have to say that I have a family and I have 2 children. I do, I have my time to create art, but there's also a part of me that really wants to, push myself or push my boundaries and let people know about art therapy, let people know about my art. So there's definitely the driving force. Like I have a little fire that that I have going, and I just keep fanning it.
Yeah, definitely. You have to if you're going to be doing all of these things and accomplishing them all. There has to be an inner drive to that. So that's really cool.
Yeah. And I only know this because of a time when I wasn't doing it. Um, And I think that that's where it actually stemmed from as well, when I wasn't like creating my art, and I wasn't like I wasn't doing that self-care work. And so I
Yeah.
see that as, when you do that self-care, then you have even more, your cup is overflowing, so you can
Oh,
offer that.
definitely. It's
Hmm.
really important. It's not talked about enough in terms of like what the daily practice of self-care is, what it
Hmm.
really means. I think it's marketed to us in very superficial ways,
Hmm.
which are nice. It's nice to go get a manicure or pedicure. It's, nice to do those kinds of little things for yourself, but it's really the day-to-day practice of real intentional things that we do to take care of ourselves that helps us to be our best, I think.
No, most definitely. I agree, and I have to practice that myself, or I'll definitely be off energetically. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think being a creative psychotherapist means to you?
Well, geez, I think it's a great honor. I feel like it's just this, I just have this opportunity to help people with art to transform their lives. And I think that's just an awesome gift. You know, I feel really blessed.
Yeah, it's amazing when people are apprehensive about it and they allow themselves to engage in the process, and then to hear their feedback about, oh wow, I got so much more out of this than I really anticipated I would, and they're really grateful. I love that part of the work.
Yeah, because we live so much in our head, and the art making is really, it helps you get into the moment, so you can get out of the head, and you just have to allow yourself. I was just working with the client, and I was like, listen, we're not going to talk for at least 15 minutes, so I need you to you just only art making.
Mhm. That can be
So,
hard sometimes.
yeah, I know. I said, this baby steps, like next time we'll try 20, but I need you just give yourself 15 minutes. And they felt really good. They're like, I went by so fast. I'm like, I know, but you grounded yourself. You could see the shift of no, 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 no. It was like definitely a difference.
Yeah,
And to allow yourself to do that is just, that's a luxury, right?
it is. It is. It's hard. I think that's a very difficult thing in our society, is to allow ourselves to have the slow down time to
Hmm.
engage in any activity that kind of brings us back down to earth and grounds us and slows everything down, allows us to have that point of reflection. We're really trained to go, go, go constantly.
Hmm.
So it is a luxury and a privilege. And so, how are you employing creativity in your practice, specifically to some of the projects that you're doing, like the manifesting class and your online work?
Yeah, well, like I was saying before, it's definitely been an evolution. It was, I want to say it was like 7 years ago when I decided that I was going to start offering the art therapy like out into the community. And I wanted to be able to, I went to galleries, I went to yoga studios, like I rented a studio space. So I really just wanted to get a feel of what that was like, of just offering my services to people. And I wanted to like create a structure and a container um, in order for people to really get a sense of this healing practice. And what I learned from doing this is that um, it was more of like a spiritual practice for me,
Mm.
and that like who was coming to me, and then kind of what their needs were. Um, and so I have to say that like that's when the whole like chakra work
Mhm.
started being incorporated into what I started offering. And so with the chakras, it's like this Hindu philosophy, and it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. And so it gives you this like framework of where your energy centers are. And so with
Mhm.
manifesting, it's bringing this energy from what is going on up above in the universe, and then bringing the energy and then grounding it down. So what I was noticing, I have this little chakra quiz that I like to give people, and what I was noticing is that, we live in our head and we have all these ideas. And even for myself, it was like when I was having a hard time, even like manifesting things, it was because I was always living up here.
Mhm.
And so to be able to ground that energy and ground your ideas, you got to do the work of the balancing and bringing it down. So a lot of times where we get stuck is in our solar plexus, which is our power and our self-worth and our confidence, and then moving that down to like that sacral area of like having fun and being able to process our emotions, letting go of bad habits, that type of thing in our relationships. And then the root, which is with our family. This is related to money. This is related to like our body. And so when I started even doing the work for myself of
Mhm.
being balanced, I noticed there was the shifts. So it was like with the shifts within myself. And then when I started teaching it to other people of how to getting your energies aligned, because I see it like as holistic practice, looking at different areas of your life, and then how to balance that. And then they're able to manifest. It's like once you do the healing work, that self-care work, um, you get into alignment and things start happening, and that's when that transformation happens, and you're feeling good. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's just kind of like it's been an evolution, of of what I've been learning by working, in my private practice part, but also of what I want to offer people too. So, I did start when I first started it with like a 7-week program. It was with women.
Mhm.
And so I had this small community group in this private office. And then for me, I mean, it was hard to just physically get to the office to offer it. I have
Sure.
kids and managing my time and things like that. And so I was like, and I was doing like, when I had a studio, I had like a once a month class where I was like bringing people in. So, it's been an evolution, and what's been coming up, especially this past year, is just more online work. And so that's why I started offering a once a month community class online. So which has been fun. I've been doing that for about 6 months, and then also offering online art therapy. So then I don't have to drive anywhere. They don't have to drive anywhere. We could, if they need to
Yeah.
reschedule, everything's online. So I mean, it's definitely been like a slow process of getting it out there. It only take it's just small, handful of people, but it's just for me, it feels good. It's kind of where I'm at in my life of like what I can offer, and then it feels right. So it all definitely changes every year. It feels like I have a new project that I'm working on. But this is where I'm at right now, and this is what feels good.
No, that's true. I think you have to constantly be connected to what feels good to you, because then
Mm,
if you're not, it's really hard to show up in a real way and be excited about what you're doing.
mhm.
And I think other people know when you're showing up and you don't want to be there, and that's not helpful for anybody.
Hey, are you ready to gain clarity for your vision and draft actionable steps to achieve the outcomes you desire for your practice? We at the Creative Clinicians Corner are now offering professional consultation services that help creative therapists organize the ideas spinning in their minds into a strategic map to launch and scale their private practices, so you can breathe with ease and confidence and take the action you need to achieve the practice of your dreams. Nothing is insurmountable, and knowing your path to success will only inspire you to push through all the roadblocks, and you don't have to do it alone. Visit us at www.creativeclinicianscorner.com and see the really affordable packages we have for you right now.
It's good to listen and retool and grow, because that's the other thing, when we start thinking about what we want to accomplish and what we want to create in our lives,
Mhm.
and then we create it, and then we're like, I'm not exactly sure that this is exactly what I wanted. Like, and then we reevaluate and
Yeah.
take it in another direction, and it's just kind of flowing up the stream.
Yeah, most definitely. It's fun to watch the process, right? It's ever change.
Yeah. Yeah. Change is always certain.
Mhm.
Um, okay. So when you were doing the women's group and you were doing that in person and then you translate it to online, how do you host the online classes? Are there modules, or is it like this with like a Zoom group?
hmm Yeah, it's both. It's part of
Okay.
my website. I have, it's like built into the back of my website where I made it to like a 7-month course so that people when we were doing it as a group, I would send them the information and then they were able to have sessions with me online like this where we discuss, what's going on. And then we were meeting once a month to review where they're at in their process and how they're like, experiencing the information and how they're what they're learning and how they're implementing it in their lives. So yeah, I was doing that for a couple years, and then um, I decided to kind of switch gears a little bit, and that's why I've just wanted to focus more on my online art therapy, and then also just the once a month class for the community, because like when you
Mhm.
do large groups, so you have to hold this container and to manage that. So I just have to be careful with where I place my energy and like what I'm able to offer. So that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, so that's kind of like I still have it on my site, and then I could definitely maybe like that'll be something for next year. And I definitely think it's powerful work. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. So with the once a month classes, it's just like this. It's on Zoom where people sign up, and then I have like a monthly theme. So I really don't give too much information. I'll just say, oh, it's about self-confidence this month, or it's about manifesting money, or it's about last time it was animal guides. And
Oh,
this month, I
fun.
think we're going to be doing visualizations. So, yeah, I kind
Nice.
of keep a little abstract. So they're like, "Ooh, what are we going to
Keep them guessing. It's
do?"
exciting to be there. Very cool.
Yeah.
And so, how do you market all of these things and connect with people to work with? I think that's a huge part of, okay, I'm in, my steady 9 to 5 job where I'm getting those clients and I don't have to really work to get them. They're kind of guaranteed. But
Mhm.
when you're doing this and you're doing your own thing and you're in, whether it's in your studio or online,
Mhm.
how do you reach the audience that you really know is going to benefit from what you're offering?
It's a great question. A few years ago, I was really interested in other like artists out there that were offering healing modalities. So they weren't art therapists, but they're actually very successful, and they're doing things online, and they're well known, they're established. And so I started interviewing them, just like what you're doing now.
Oh,
And
cool.
I was interested in like their process, and I was interested in how they were making their money, and how their work was really powerful, because their work they're doing a great job, they still are. um, so that was kind of like where I started, and I knew that even online, like Facebook, where I had like my connections, my friends there, and I had my art, which I always feel is very compartmentalized. Like I have my art's over here, my friends over here, but I felt like I needed like a little middle bit of a middle ground where I could just be myself, where I could talk about spirituality, I could talk about manifesting or crystals, and things that I'm interested in, things that I get excited about, of like mental health, self
Mhm.
care, all these kind of things. That's me. So I created a group called the Creative Soul Online Retreat. And
Ooh,
so, yeah, so I started putting the interviews on there. And then from that, I started doing like little challenges. Like I'll do like a 7-day challenge that could be about the chakras. Or when I think a few months ago, I did one like 5 days art for your soul, that type of thing, where it had like little art prompts. So, but it's just kind of like, it's a conversation, you're connecting with people, and we're just talking about the same interests. So it's like a collective group that we all have the same interests. And so this is where I let people know about the once a month group, which is great. Or if I'm doing another offering, like I've done like I said, like the 7-month courses, that type of thing, I've offered it there. And so, yeah, so really just with the marketing, I just let people know on Facebook. I invite people to the group who I think might be a fit or might have the same interest. And then on Instagram, I think I'm still trying to integrate that part of myself on there. Like my Instagram is more of my art. And I feel like that's something that I'm working on, is just integrating more of like me, just being authentic, of saying like, this is all my other interests too. So yeah, I think, like I said, it's like an evolution, this process of putting myself out there.
Yeah. Well, I think too, what you're doing with the classes is
Hmm.
going to be a different audience than who you're marketing your artwork to. If you're
Hmm.
trying to find collectors
Hmm.
to have your paintings, which are beautiful,
Oh,
um, so you have to have the two different groups. But I don't know, maybe there is a way to kind of merge them into one, to have them exist, have a whole more integrated um, aspect online. I don't know. It's challenging.
it is. Yeah, I mean, even on my website, I'm actually updating it right now. And I do have two separate lists. I have my art collectors, and then I have the ones that are interested in art therapy and art healing and things like that. So it's two separate audiences, but yeah, it's sometimes it's easier just to be yourself and put them all out there.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to be one place, just
Yes.
everything all in one place rather than have like all of the different things. But
Mhm.
um, it seems like there is some necessity to have some differentiation too.
Mhm.
Um, oh, cool. And if listeners were doing something similar in their practice,
Mhm.
do you have any tips or suggestions of how they could accomplish their goal?
Yeah, I think it's important to, like I said, be really authentic, and what are your interests, and what lights you up, and what do you specialize in? Because I think that's important, and like, coming out and being able to, put yourself out there into the online world, or even in your community. They're like, what are you about? And what is your specialty? What are you good at? So I think just finding what you really want, and then as you do it, just be really consistent and put it out there. I think that when I first started, just when I knew that I wanted to come out, I think I had some hesitation because I was scared. I was really scared about
Sure.
putting my artwork out there, or putting, I have, like I said, I've been offering clinical services to the public school. And I'm like, what is my boss going to think of me, that I'm coming out there and wanting to do my own private practice work or putting my artwork out there? And then I'm just like, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's like, just do me, right?
Hmm.
Just put yourself out there. So, yeah, I think that's the learning lesson of just, building your confidence and being flexible, and, not everything's going to work out, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And there are going to be things that do work out, and it's going to turn out to be really, really awesome. So
Hmm.
just try it. Don't talk yourself out of it. If something interests you, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and some of the other like resources that I listen to, um, they talk about imperfect action.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. I want to do something and I get so stuck, and okay, I have to have a perfect plan and it has to be this, 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 this. And then you get so caught up in what it has to be that you never take action, and then you're not really reaching that goal that you set out for yourself, which is disappointing, and there's all kinds of emotions that go
Mm-hmm.
with that. And so like the idea of imperfect action is, it doesn't matter that I don't have it all together, it doesn't matter that I don't have a crystal clear plan or
Mm-hmm.
a figured out strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the imperfect action. I'm going to do it. And through doing, I'm actually going to learn what I do need to do, and the things I thought I needed to do that I really probably didn't need to do anyway.
Yeah, it's always a work in progress.
Mhm.
And I think for me, it's more satisfying that, like, if I want to do something, that I follow through. because if I don't follow through, then it's like I never would have known, and it just doesn't
Mhm.
feel as good. So,
Yeah, no, there's like that little regret too.
mhm,
Like, disappointing ourselves, letting ourselves down.
yeah.
Yeah. So, so lastly,
Mhm.
do you have anything that you would encourage the listeners to check out by you? Anything that you're offering? Um, any kind of tips um, to kind of help them launch into doing their own creative work?
Yes, 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 yes. I have a couple of things like I had mentioned about the online monthly class of Life is Your Masterpiece that is available if you want to join us to just create and do your own self-care, or if you're looking for, new art therapy techniques. Like I said, every month I'm doing something new. That's one thing. If you're interested in the chakra work, it's just more about spirituality, about getting into alignment, and manifesting, that type of thing. I have a free chakra quiz that if you sign up for um, my newsletter, my little newsletter
Okay,
that I send out once a month, yeah, then yeah, you can just kind of do a self-assessment and kind of see where, what might need to be tweaked. Yeah,
cool. Well,
you
we'll
get that.
put the link in the show notes for that, definitely. Um,
Awesome.
and when do you meet for your masterpiece class? How, I know it's once a month, but is it like a specific day and time?
Yeah, it's on the first Thursday of the month from 6 to 8 Eastern time.
Okay,
Yeah, so it gives us 2 hours to create together.
very cool.
Yeah, I think it during the week. It was actually, I did a poll in our online group and kind of see like what works best for everybody. So that seems to be good.
You know, it's interesting. I think sometimes people will say, oh, the weekend would be easier. But then when it comes down to it, when people have families and kids, and there's so many events and other things that come up, it's hard to be consistent on a weekend.
Hmm.
Um, I know I've found that even in providing services on the weekend, which I don't anymore.
Oh, good for you.
For for that reason, because people would
Yeah.
say, "Yeah, I'm available for Saturday," but then they would cancel or just not be able to come because of other obligations. So,
Yep.
yeah. And do you have anything else that you're working on that you'd be interested in sharing?
Well, I'm actually working on a really big project that I'm excited about, but it's secret right now, so I can't really talk
Okay.
about it. And I'd be happy to come back if you invite me back, and
Yes,
we can
absolutely.
have a whole discussion about it because I'm really excited. It's kind of why I've kind of cut back on my extra projects because I'm focusing on this one. So
That totally makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
Whenever you're launching something new, it takes a lot of
yes,
energy and attention and nurturance to kind of get it going.
yes.
Exciting. Well, I'll definitely be following you and looking for when you'll be sharing about what that is.
Okay.
And where can people reach out to you directly if they wanted to? Where can they find you?
All right. Well, you definitely can find me. My website is a great way to contact me, which is www.leahguzman.com. I'm on Facebook as artist Leah Guzman, and then on Instagram as Leah Guzman Art.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that you'd like to share today that maybe we didn't talk about that might be inspiring for other creative therapists to hear?
Well, I think just going back and reiterate what we had talked about a little earlier about the self care, because,
Mm,
we're in this profession where we're constantly giving, and, we have these bleeding hearts because we care so much. And it can really weigh on you. And I've been there.
absolutely.
I've gone through the whole burnout syndrome. I've done all of that. And it really went back to taking care of myself. And so if I could just say that again, it's just make it happen now. If you're like, I know, like I went to the art therapy conference and I've met a lot of fresh newbies and they're just seem so sparkly, but to keep that momentum, you got to do that self-care, and do it daily, like make it a practice, whether it's meditation, it's yoga, it's taking a walk, it's whatever it is
making
just,
sure you're taking lunch at work.
Yeah.
Like those kinds of things.
That's their basics.
I know, but a lot of the newbies don't do that. They get so caught up in what they're doing at their job, and they feel like they have to compete with the other people that are in the agency or school or wherever they're at. And they don't see other people modeling that, and then they don't. And that burnout really starts to kick in really fast because they're not setting those boundaries to take care of themselves and give them time.
Yeah. I would say that would be like number one on the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
And drink water, drink lots of water.
Lots of water. Always have water. Yeah. I only say that because I do supervision, and so it comes up frequently, and I find myself checking in with people like, okay, what are we going to do to make sure that you take lunch? Like that is an essential thing. You have to take a lunch. You have to take a bathroom break. Yes,
definitely. And do things that you feel comfortable doing. I know that like when people are, especially when they're motivated and they're in that position where they feel like, if they don't have boundaries, people will take advantage of you, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So.
Yeah, it's part of those chakras. That solar plexus, self-worth and boundaries, and most definitely want to take care of yourself.
Awesome. Well, I know I'm excited to take the chakra quiz. I'll sign up for that.
Awesome.
See where I'm at. I could probably use some help in that area too. But yeah, thank you so much for, agreeing to come on and talk and share about the cool stuff that you're doing. And I can't wait to hear about what you're doing next.
Awesome. Thank you, Raina.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Creative Psychotherapist. If you like what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. For show notes, downloads, and additional resources, head over to the website at www.creativeclinicianscorner.com.